Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Talking with Our Traders, a Caesar Sportsbook original series. This is where we sit down with our very own Caesar Sportsbook traders and dive deep into everything NFL and college football. Whether you're looking for insider insights or just want to hear what the pros have to say, you've come to the right place. Let's get into it. I'm your host, Cindy Edwards, and with me today, as always, is Craig Mucklow, Vice President of Trading here at Caesar Sportsbook.
Hello there.
And Joey Fiesel, Head of Football here at Caesars.
Hello.
Okay, guys, let's dive into some college football. Joey, if Indiana played every team in the SEC on a neutral field, how many games would they be favored in?
I have Indiana favored against 9 SEC teams. So we have Arkansas, Auburn, Florida, Kentucky, Mississippi State, Missouri, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Vanderbilt. Tennessee and Texas A&M are very similarly rated to Indiana based on our power ratings. At the start of the season, Indiana would only be favored against 2 SEC opponents, Mississippi State and Vanderbilt. This is a good team, and they have their biggest test going into this weekend. Very good coach. We'll see if they're real or they're fake.
I like it. Craig, any thoughts there?
I had it at 10, so I feel quite good about myself. If Joey's put 9
close.
up, I'm happy with that.
All right. How many teams in the SEC are in your top 12 power ratings?
So I have Georgia, Texas, Ole Miss, Bama. That's easy. Tennessee and A&M, again, are right at that 12th spot. So I have a really kind of a three-way for tie for 12. But definitely those 4 are in the top 12.
Yeah, I had Tennessee over A&M. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Look at that. Close again. Okay. You have to set some hypothetical lines for the following games on a neutral field. Joey, this is your bread and butter. Miami versus Penn State.
Miami, -1. Very slight favorite there. Miami, very explosive offense. Penn State is a good all-around balanced team. Again, they don't really get up for big games. But, yeah, this would be Miami -1.
Yeah, I made it 3 only because of the strength of schedule that Penn State have played.
Yeah.
They played nobody.
Right.
Yep.
So just because of that, I went -3. I'm comfortable with it. I'd probably lay it out in my own pocket if somebody wanted it.
All right. Next up, we have Oregon versus Texas. Craig?
-3 Texas.
Okay.
I'm not convinced with Oregon still, and I just think Texas have had the better of the schedule and played the better of the quality teams.
I have Pick'em. It's about as close as it can get.
All right.
They're right there at the top of the rankings for us. This would be one hell of a game, that's for sure.
Right. Okay, last but not least, Boise State versus Ohio State.
Ohio State -15. Obviously, Boise State already played a really good team with Oregon, kept it very close. But still, a lot of things were in Boise's favor in that game with that Oregon offensive line really not healthy, and also they hadn't hit their stride yet. So still going in this game, Ohio State the big 2-touchdown favorite at 15.
Yeah, I couldn't quite go higher than 2 touchdowns, but I stood at 14 Ohio State.
All right. Well, thank you guys for playing that. Moving on, game on the line. Who are you guys taking, Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders?
This is not even close, surely.
Cam Ward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even close.
He's been in this situation multiple times this season. He's got it done. He's a more dynamic quarterback, and he's the quarterback I'd want on the field.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, easy. What is your favorite Week 13 game for the total to go under, Craig?
We're going weather, and we're going tonight. And then just before I checked it, it's probably more of a second half play than a full game. But I'm sticking with it because I'm stubborn. Ohio, Toledo under 46. However, the wind doubles once you get into the second quarter, so it's going from like 9 miles an hour to 20, 25.
Wow.
So definitely a second half play, that's for sure. And the beauty is you get to see the impact of the wind through the second quarter before you make a decision.
Love it.
I'm going Service Academy against my poor team that's probably looking ahead against their Super Bowl next week here in Las Vegas against UNLV. So Air Force Nevada under 44.5.
All right. What is your favorite Week 13 game for the total to go over, Joey?
SMU, Virginia, over 59. SMU can score at will. Virginia, the strength of their team is their offense. This is going to be a high-scoring game.
Yeah, I think I went with SMU last week. Credit to the other genius in the back room. He's given me Texas State and Georgia State over 57.5. I can't pick a college over. So.
All right. Which team is on upset alert for the college games this weekend?
Colorado Buffaloes are on upset alert. Kansas
gosh.
gets the win.
That was on my list.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. I think I found my calling in life. I can pick college upsets.
Yeah, it's true.
All credit to the data. None of this is my opinion, so it's the data. I was torn between a couple, but I've gone with Duke over Virginia Tech this week.
Okay, we will see. Let's get into a game preview. Number 5, Indiana versus number 2, Ohio State. Joey, break it down for us.
So this is a game going in the season that we did not know that we all wanted to see. Indiana is our most improved team on the power ratings. If you look at the beginning of the season until now, top to bottom, Ohio State is the much more talented team. But Kirk Cignetti, Google him, he wins. This Indiana team is absolutely going to be hyped for this game as they will have the chance to play in the Big Ten title game, which is huge for this program. Then they already gave Kirk Cignetti a big contract showing that they have faith in him to kind of lead this program into the spotlight. And it also, this is going to be probably a playoff decider for Indiana. I still think they'll keep him in, but if they get blown out, that committee is definitely, we've seen how they've treated Florida State last year. They're going to be hard on them. So line opened up 12, but it's heading up towards Ohio State. I think it's at 13.5 right now. But yeah, it's going to be one great game.
Indiana's first real opponent, and the spread reflects that. It's 13.5. Indiana have averaged a 30-point margin of victory while holding the opposing offenses to 13.5 points per game, and there's your spread. Indiana 8-2 against the spread this year, 3-0 against the spread on the road. Surprisingly, the ticket count right now is 6-1 in Indiana's favor. So at the moment, as of today, we're Ohio State fans. But to piggyback on what Joey said, this is probably a good example of what is to come when some of these teams play really soft schedules. Then they play a proper contender and a marquee team. I hope Indiana contends, or keeps it close at least. The worst that could happen is if they get absolutely blown out and then all the Monday morning quarterbacks go, well, this is why you don't have these teams.
Yeah.
So I hope it keeps it close just so that they get an opportunity, but this is always the worry. Now you've got a really, really soft schedule going against a marquee team. The committee keeps them in. They get annihilated round 1, and then you get all that nonsense over again.
You know we will.
All right, guys, let's get into some NFL. Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, a close race for Offensive Player of the Year. What will be the deciding factor on who wins it?
Go on.
Okay, I got Saquon Barkley winning for Offensive Player of the Year. And the deciding factor is always going to be wins and health. If they're healthy, if they're both healthy, we know the production is going to be there. These are one of those best running backs in the league with teams that like to run the ball. But I think it's going to be how these teams play down the stretch and who boasts a better record. And I'm banking that the Eagles are going to be the better team down the stretch.
I kind of went along the same thinking. But for me right now, it's Derrick Henry. More yards, more touchdowns. Ravens are the better of the two teams. If they played right now on a neutral field, Ravens would blow them out. The only thought I had was which team makes the playoff earliest and then decides to rest players, because then you're damaging your productivity. But you get to play each other December the 1st. So whoever has the better game probably stamps that answer.
All right, so circle that one. Moving on to MVP, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. What will be the deciding factor for those two players?
If the Bills get the number 1 seed, it's Josh Allen. But the Bills have only beat 2 teams with winning records, and both those games were in Buffalo. The Ravens have 3 wins against teams with winning record, including an absolute demolition of the Bills, 35-10. It's Lamar Jackson right now. It's Lamar Jackson's to lose, and Lamar Jackson will stamp his authority again this weekend on the MVP.
Fun. I went the other way. I went Josh Allen. He had his MVP moment on that 4th and 2 touchdown.
He sure did.
And that is a lot what this award goes with. It's just how it goes. It's the NFL. It's the big show.
A touchdown that we were all screaming against.
Yeah, we didn't like to see it, but it happened. The deciding factor, again, is wins and health. But one third thing for quarterbacks is minimizing mistakes. Josh Allen or Lamar cannot have a run of poor performances. We saw what it did to Jared Goff's MVP odds. He's back in the mix now. He had a great game. But
Right.
poor performances, especially down the stretch, is really going to hurt either one of these candidates.
It's always a recency award as well.
Yeah, it is,
Yeah.
definitely.
All right. Guys, how would you rebuild the Jets?
New quarterback, new coach, retain the talent that you can, and sell off the rest. Again, this was the rebuild going in this year. This was the final product. It's not good enough. So I think Aaron Rodgers definitely has to go. It's just not going to work out with him. He wants to have too much control, and he's not getting wins. So, I think where you're going to kind of rebuild and how you want to do this, it's the offense. The offense has always been the problem. It's never been the defense.
Yeah.
So maybe you go after Ben Johnson for the Lions. He's going to be the top candidate going into the offseason for head coaching gigs. So I think, you go that. You go offense. You try to be the Bills or you try to beat the Chiefs.
Why would I want to fix the Jets? There are so many Jets fans in this building and in this company that it would ruin my Monday morning if
Right.
they actually became ever competitive. But I did ask one of the smartest men that works for this company, who's a huge Jets fan. And I said, how would you fix the Jets? And he says, not even God could fix the Jets. But joking aside, financially they're in a hole for another year with Rodgers. If you get rid of Rodgers, it's $50 million dead cap. He's on for $29 million anyway next year. There's no way he's giving up that. So basically that contract's cost you $40 million per win under Rodgers. You've got to get financially right. The Giants are starting to do it, as you can see, with not promoting Drew Lock, and putting Tommy DeVito.
Tommy Cutlets.
Yeah.
Tommy Cutlets.
Yeah.
You've got to eat
Wild.
it for a year. Let Father Time get you another terrible season. Get another set of high draft picks. Don't waste money on needless free agents, which are always overpaid anyway. You're in a 2-year rebuild. New coach, new GM, new everything, maybe new owner, because the two teams with the most meddling owners are the ones that are not doing very well right now.
Very true. All right, guys. Favorite Week 12 game for the total to go under the Craig special. Craig, start us off.
We have football weather this week. Okay, tomorrow, Browns and Steelers. I had this 34.5. The line is 36, 37. Significant wind and a lot of snow. So it might be maybe a no touchdown scorer on this one.
Oh, fun.
Big price.
I went a different direction. I went Harbaugh Bowl, Chargers,
Ooh.
Ravens.
No, you've got this one way wrong.
I think it's too high. I think these two teams know each other well. You have former offensive coordinator with the Chargers. I think this is going to be a gritty run the ball matchup, and I think it's too high. 50 points is too high.
Too
I
high.
actually have that at 47 and the line's 50.
Yeah.
All right. So we're in agreement. Favorite Week 12 game for the total to go over, Joey?
Lions, Colts in a dome. Anthony Richardson's back. Lions offense is on fire. Give me the over 50.
Just give me the over in any game the Lions are playing in. Craig?
Well, they can do it on their own, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Yeah. Watching the Lions rack up points every Sunday is not good in this building.
No.
The biggest difference on my numbers this week, the Cowboys and the Commanders over 44.5. I saw enough out of Dallas to compete, but desperation got the better of them, and they should have scored more points. I mean, the slip on the field goal, they went for it on 4th and 9. He caught it and fell short, and then they're going for it on 4th and goal. I saw enough for them to get some points, and I think Washington could score anyway, so I think 44.5 is a little bit low.
All right. Let's pick an NFL upset in Week 12. Craig,
All
this
right.
is your specialty.
Bear with me on this one.
All right. Here
Okay.
I am.
I'm taking the Raiders. Yes, I am not under any influence of anything. And the reason I'm doing it is, if I'm the Raiders, if any competition I'm ever in, I play to win.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm a gracious loser, but I'm a terrible winner. If I'm the Raiders, I'm booking every single hotel room off the strip because the F1's here Saturday night.
Yeah.
Force the Broncos to stay in a strip-facing casino, maybe Caesars Palace, right? To get a great view of the race, all the noise. You're up till 2, 3 in the morning, all the crowds that are going to be there as well.
Right.
So, I mean,
Too much
you've
temptation.
got too much. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're going to want to watch the race, and there's going to be so much going on. Obviously, there's no way the Broncos are staying anywhere near the Strip this weekend.
Yeah.
It's probably our local.
Probably out at Lake Las Vegas again.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
But that would be my angle. So I think maybe
I
the
like
Raiders
it.
might pull off the shot.
I don't know. Raiders might be looking towards next week playing the Chiefs.
Yes.
Joey?
Tommy Cutlets. He's good for one game. Give me the Giants at home against Bucks, against Baker. No one sees it coming except for me.
All right.
I can see the logic in that.
Yeah.
That makes me want to fade it very badly. But let's get into building your 3-leg anytime touchdown score parlays. Craig, you're going to build one. Joey, you're going to build one. Craig, start us off.
Well, got 2 out of 3 last week, so we're
Yeah,
getting
you were
closer.
Lamar. I thought it was
The
going to
one
happen.
that was the absolute guarantee.
Absolutely.
But then I'd have been completely torn watching Josh Allen run for that 4th and 2 touchdown.
Yeah.
Knowing I'd picked a treble for once, and it was a bad result for us.
Right.
Okay, we're calling this one the chip special.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You're going to give him a big head, but go on.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
James O'Connor, Arizona. Jameson Williams, Detroit. And via the way of the LA Chargers from Baltimore, the matchup, Gus Edwards. So we've got James Edwards.
That is hilarious. All right, Joey, can you beat that? I'm not sure.
No.
I got all running backs, but the last one is going to surprise everybody. Jonathan Brooks, Bucky Irving, and Christian McCaffrey. We got to add him onto it. We'll see if he can get involved.
That just reeks of desperation.
Oh my God. No, I like it. If any of you guys at home like either of these, you can tail them on the Caesars Sportsbook app. Guys, let's get into some rapid fire questions. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
Where will these coaches be next season? Bill Belichick,
ESPN 2.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Deion Sanders,
Colorado.
Colorado.
Robert Saleh,
Defensive coordinator somewhere.
49ers.
Mike McCarthy,
A ranch in Pittsburgh.
On the couch.
Yeah.
Doug Peterson,
A beach somewhere.
Eagles consultant.
A beach.
okay, Mike Vrabel,
New England.
Defensive coordinator for Jacksonville.
Brian Dable,
Nowhere in a million miles near New York.
Bills consultant.
James Franklin.
Wherever the softest schedule is.
Penn State.
That was fun. That was super fun. Okay, guys, let's get into some overreactions or not. Overreaction or not, Bo Nix could steal Offensive Rookie of the Year from Jaden Daniels.
Overreaction.
No reaction.
Ooh.
I think if we see a regression after the bye for Daniels going down the stretch, the Broncos could position themselves for playoffs with Bo Nix playing lights out. I think he could steal from him.
Barring an injury to Daniels, he's 4 wins from a playoff spot. He plays Dallas twice, Tennessee, New Orleans, Atlanta. You make the playoffs, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Job done.
And I think here's going to be the spin zone as we get closer. They're gonna give this all to Kingsbury. Like, oh, Kingsbury is a genius. This is why Jaden's playing so well. Blah blah
Right.
blah blah blah. Bo Nix says Peyton. Peyton's not known to be the quarterback whisperer. We saw Russ there. Now he's playing pretty decently for the Steelers. So I think it's gonna be like, oh, Bo Nix did this himself.
We will see. Overreaction or not, the Steelers are the best team in the AFC.
Massive overreaction.
Huge overreaction. Yeah.
All right, name some.
All right.
Name
Bills,
some teams.
Chiefs, Ravens are well clear of the pack. The Steelers only beat the Ravens because they missed 2 field goals.
Yeah.
They were blown 2-point conversion away from losing the game. And for the second time this year, the kicker accounted for all of the Steelers' points. You've got wins against the Falcons, the Raiders, the Jets, the Giants, and you've lost the Cowboys and Colts. That doesn't make you the cream of the crop in the AFC.
Yeah,
It's a good point.
The 3 teams that he mentioned and the Bengals.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the
yeah.
Bengals, they can't win games.
Can't.
They are still a very talented team, a very good team.
All right, well, what a lovely bridge to our next overreaction or not. The Bengals will not make the playoffs.
Overreaction. But they're on the edge of the cliff.
Okay. So you think they could do it?
They have to run the table. Well, there's
Yeah.
2 scenarios.
Yeah.
They run the table, they're in. Or they win 5 of the last 6, but one of those victories has to be against Denver. And they'll need some help from a team that's qualified to, the team's up ahead. But if there's a team that's built for it, it's the Bengals.
Yeah. Listen, I love this Bengals team.
So do I.
I got Joe Burrow on my fantasy team. He's doing great, even though he's not getting wins.
Killing it.
Not an overreaction, though. Likely a reality. They can be a great team, but if you can't win games, you're not going to be in the playoffs. And their defense cannot stop anybody.
Yeah.
So, a meltdown on Sunday. They had the good chance, couldn't get there. So I think again, your offense can't be everything, and it's going to get them a couple losses down the road, and they're not going to make the playoffs.
But again, 2 missed field goals from winning that game.
Yeah. Overreaction or not, the tush push is hurting Saquon's MVP chances.
I got overreaction. Was Raheem Mostert in the MVP conversation last year because he got a bunch of touchdowns on the goal line? No, he wasn't. And the MVP is not going to be awarded to the touchdown leader. So I don't think Saquon's really in that mix for the MVP, especially with quarterbacks being back, especially in this later part of the year. It's going to a quarterback.
It's an overreaction, but what it is doing is saving Saquon's career because running backs take the most hits. Even when you're not involved in the play, you're blocking and you're taking more hits. So there was a study about this when Ricky Williams retired for the first time and started promoting marijuana for injuries.
Yep.
And they showed how many hits running backs actually take in a game, and that's why running backs don't have great careers.
Right.
But he's playing well. He's on a good team. They'll probably win the Super Bowl because we called it.
Yep, exactly. Overreaction or not, the Bears chose the wrong quarterback.
Overreaction, unless you want him to kick field goals as well. Again, put them in a position to win the game against a divisional opponent. It's going to take time for him to adjust. He played his whole career in California where it was nice and sunny. Now he's playing Soldier Field weather.
Yeah.
He needs some better coaching staff. Definitely needs an offensive line. Not an overreaction right now, but it's 10 games, 11 games.
Yeah, I think overreaction. I mean, drafting a quarterback does not mean immediate success. No. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a big mountain to climb for this Bears team. But yeah, again, they should have beat the Packers last week, and especially with the Packers were 6-point favorites going into that game, and they definitely outperformed and should have won the game. So yeah, they have a lot to do, and I think it's a lot to do with again the coaching and figuring that out and improving that. But yeah, I don't think they drafted the wrong quarterback.
All right. Let's get into Craig's weather watch. Craig, you mentioned there was weather this weekend, so break it down.
This is a great weekend if you like bad games.
So a great weekend for Craig and Craig only.
Only Craig.
Yeah.
Very important to check these the night before and look at the hourly. But 20-mile-an-hour winds and 50% chance of snow tomorrow night in Cleveland. Then we've got significant wind, and when I say significant, we're talking 25 miles an hour. Ohio, Toledo tomorrow, and Buffalo, Eastern Michigan. Thursday, NC State and Georgia State. And then Saturday, Virginia, West Virginia, the same places of the country. Old Dominion, Maryland, Rutgers, Michigan, Ohio, Oklahoma State, Arkansas, Wyoming, and Oklahoma. You can see Craig's having a 12-teamer under.
I like it. Let's get into some game previews. We have the 49ers versus the Packers. Joey, break it down for us.
So, we going into this year, we thought this would be a playoff matchup. Maybe we're going to see. I don't think it's going to be the case. Clearly a different 49ers team than we saw last year. Line opened up Packers minus 1.5. It's now 2.5. Brock Purdy probable, but clearly not going to be 100% in this game with a shoulder issue. Nick Bosa also banged up, left the game early. CMC is clearly not the same running back we saw last year, and that's going to hurt him. On the other side, the Packers did just get away with a win at home against the Bears with another field goal block at the end of the game. I lean the Niners here just because of desperation mode. And again, they have the greatest coach of all time. Jokes. But yeah, the Purdy news is making me hesitant of pulling that trigger.
Right.
Yeah, the 49ers have covered the spread as a dog in these last two matchups in Green Bay, but the Packers have won 9 of the last 12, but two different quarterbacks. The last time they met was in the playoffs where San Fran won on a walk-off field goal. The line's 2.5, 47.5. I make it -4. Green Bay 48.5. There is money for Green Bay and the under currently with us. 49ers ravaged by injuries. They have been all year. Brock Purdy and Nick Bosa are now joining the sideline party. 49ers haven't beaten a marquee team. Wins versus the Jets, the Pats, Seahawks, Cowboys, and Tampa Bay. But then on the flip side, who've the Pack beat? They've beat Texas, Houston, and Arizona, both games at home. they've got wins over the Colts, the Titans, the Rams, the Jags, and the Bears. And 2 of those were fortunate. So they're definitely not a 7-3 team. I definitely check the injury report before you play this game.
Yeah.
Ooh, good point. Next up, the Harbaugh Bowl. We have the 7-4 Ravens versus the 7-3 Chargers on Monday Night Football. The Ravens coming off that loss to Pittsburgh, and the Chargers coming off that win versus the Bengals. What should we expect from this matchup, Craig?
Harbaugh Bowl round 3. The last time that these two met, the lights literally went out in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. John is 2-0 versus Jim, and the Ravens have won 4 of the last 5 versus the Chargers. Line is 3, Baltimore and 50 total. No surprises here. There's money for the Ravens and the over. We get our 12th AFC North versus AFC West matchup this year, where the favourites are 8-3 against the spread. Primetime road favourites are 9-3 straight up, or only 7-5 against the spread. And the Sportsbook nightmare, Monday Night Football totals are 10-4 over. What we saw on Sunday, a good over team in the Bengals versus a theoretical very good under team in the Chargers, and the offenses took control. So it doesn't surprise me that the 50's getting better above. Some of that speaks to the Chargers' weak schedule. The Bengals showed that they can score at will on the Chargers, and the Chargers have got 1 win against a winning team, and that's Denver, and that's in the division. After that, their opponents have averaged 2.8 wins per year. This will be the second time I've called this year. Ravens by $1 billion.
Ooh, I'm on the opposite side. Little brother
I love
gets
it.
it done.
Love it.
Again, the Chargers almost charged it up on Sunday night against the Bengals, but they got it done. The Ravens loss put them in a bad spot for the division, so they're going to want to get right. But again, I'm thinking Chargers. I think 3 is too many. I don't know if they're going to win straight up. But again, bigger brother 2-0 in the matchup. That was, 11 years ago?
Something like that.
The younger brothers learned quite a bit since then. Give me the Chargers plus the 3. I think I'm sensing a little bit of regression from that Ravens loss moving forward. So I'm going to keep with that.
Interesting fact. That Super Bowl was the last time and the only time, I think, where both my biggest preseason tickets on the Super Bowl met each other in the Super Bowl. And we rented out the local bar, and basically we watched it.
Nice.
Had a good
had a
time.
party.
That Super Bowl was also at the Caesars Superdome, which is hosting the Super Bowl this
Correct.
year.
There you go. So 3-0.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Great job previewing those games. Let's get into our weekly picks. We pick a college pick. We pick a NFL pick. We have some standings. Craig, where are the standings?
Well, we were all pretty mid last week. We all went 1-1.
Right.
I'm 1-0 going into Monday night, and I'm on the Cowboys. What an idiot. So I stand at 8, Cindy at 12, and Joey at 14. Still not mathematically over yet. I'm going Ohio Toledo second half under 22.
Okay.
And
All right.
I said the Ravens by $1 billion, so we'll go Ravens by 3.
Fair enough. Give me the Hilltoppers, Western Kentucky, +1 against a bad Liberty team. And the Seattle Sea Chickens pick'em against the Cardinals on Sunday.
Ooh, okay. I am, for some reason, fading Joey in both of my picks, which is just not a great idea because Joey is leading the pack. I am going to go Colorado -2.5 and Bucks -6. I don't really know, but I decided to pick on Joey today.
It's fine.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, right? I'm spending too much time around Craig. All right, guys, anything to say before we end today's episode?
Good luck.
Good luck, yeah.
Good luck. Bye.